claim that the EPA is scientists, that none of us are, except that's really not accurate. There's about 4 or 5 trained scientists in the Senate. I happen to be one of them. But the whole predicate that we heard from the senator from Massachusetts the basis was the Supreme Court. They're certainly not scientists. The other thing I would reject was the senator from New Mexico. As a scientist, and if you read the minority opinions on all the reports that they've cited, this is not settled science. Now, even if it was, this is one senator would say this is not the time to do this. Our economy is still on its back, and it's going to be that way for the next 4 years. We have massive problems in front of us, and we're going to add a ruling, not a congressional ruling, a bureaucratic ruling that is going to kill jobs, that is going to increase the cost of everything that we produce in this country, because it all starts with energy. It's going to mandate changes in behavior that will affect every family in this country. So even if it was absolutely true, I would tell you that we shouldn't be doing it now. The second thing is to say that the EPA is going to do this. Do you realize the EPA can't even train 250,000 contractors for lead paint? They blew it. They totally blew it. They were incompetent, and consequently, we have hundreds of thousands of people to today still aren't working on older homes because of the EPA's incompetence. So for us to claim that we have to do this now and that we shouldn't reject this now is like cutting off our nose to spite our face. This will have, no matter what anybody says, it's going to have major impact on our economy at the time when we can't afford to have another negative drag on our economy. Even if it is true, it isn't. But even if it is, it would be stupid for us to do this now, especially when the rest of the world is not coming along at all. And the footprint that we might minimize won't have any impact on the health of Americans. So we're going to have a certain amount of CO2 no matter what. Because the Chinese certainly aren't doing it, the Indians certainly aren't doing it, and they're building 1 smokestack a day in China right now. So for us to take this action in light of the incompetency at the EPA, in light of our economic situation we find ourselves, I find highly ironic. Even if it's the right thing to do, now is not the time to do it, given the place where we find ourselves economically in this country. And then finally, I've been in this body 5 years, and I've heard time and time again from the people opposing this motion to disagree, complain about administration taking away our rightful legislative duty. This is not something that should come from a bureaucracy. This has way too big of an impact. Congress, if we can't get it through, it shouldn't happen. That's what our country's set up on. Instead, by default, we're going to allow a bureaucracy to take over what we're supposed to be doing. The way this country works is if we don't do it, it shouldn't be happening because there isn't a consensus in the body to get a clean energy program out of the Senate. So you can't have it both ways. You can't complain about it when we're seeing it in things you like and not complain about it when things that you don't like. So I'll finish with this one point. We better be very careful in this body about what we're doing. We are playing with the future of 200 million Americans that is extremely precarious at this point in time from an economic standpoint. And we can claim all the long-term negative health benefits, but as a physician, if you don't have an economy or you have an economy that crumbles, no matter what you've done on that, you haven't helped anybody. I would yield back, and I thank the senator from Alaska for the time.
Senator from West Virginia is recognized for 10 minutes. Senator from West Virginia.
I thank the